Welcome, folks, to NFL Week 6 prediction video. Last week, I went 6-8. Brutal one. Worst week, of course. Of course, we had some bye weeks from the Bears, the Falcons, the Packers, and the Steelers, both coming out of the bye last week. So this week, we'll see if this is more better improvement. But overall, I went 50-27. So still, hey, I have a good record. Although last week was even worse. Starting off on Thursday night between the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants at 8:15 p.m. Eastern on Prime Video. Philadelphia is a 7.5-point favorite. Latest news: the Eagles running back Saquon Barkley is questionable to play for this game. Not sure if he'll play today or tomorrow. I'm sorry. Tomorrow we'll see if he'll play, but I do think he'll play. They are coming off a tough loss to the Broncos, their first loss of the season. They're going to take on the Giants, who came back from New Orleans in a brutal loss to the New Orleans Saints. But looking to get back on track this week. And again, Jackson Dart's second home game as the starting quarterback. 1-0 at home. But now here against the defending champs, I think the Eagles get back on track. Eagles win by 8, 28-20. Eagles win. Denver Broncos take on the New York Jets at 9:30 a.m. Eastern on NFL Network and also on NFL Plus. Denver is a 6.5-point favorite. They're coming off a huge road win against the Philadelphia Eagles. They fly across the country to London, England, and welcome the New York Jets. We're also flying to London with some sad moods today. Of course, in a brutal loss to the Dallas Cowboys last week. A must-win game for Aaron Glenn after the Jets. This should be a fun one. I'm going to take the Denver Broncos. I still trust their defense. Their offense, they're getting something with Bo Nix in the offense, but I just think that Broncos defense will find a way to slow down Justin Fields. I'll say Broncos win by 4, 24-20 over the Jets. Following that, you got the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Jacksonville is a 1.5-point favorite in this one. They're coming off a huge home win against the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday night. They welcome the Seahawks, who are coming off a tough home loss to the Buccaneers in a 50th anniversary type of throwback match. But this one is going to be a difficult game for Seattle because they have to travel from the Pacific North to Jacksonville. Sun degrees over there. Should be a fun one. I'll take the Jaguars in this one. I do think their offense is going, but I'm thinking the defense needs to step up. Of course, they did stop Mahomes from down 14-0, but now they got to play JSN and Sam Darnold on that offense. Close one. Give me Jaguars by 5. Los Angeles Chargers take on Miami Dolphins at 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Chargers are a 3.5-point favorites. And the reason is Marion Hampton is injured. He's in the IR. So Hassan Haskins is their RB1, of course, for the Chargers, who are coming off a tough loss to the Commanders last week. They take on the Dolphins. And for the Dolphins, their season is not going in the right direction. And they blew a 17-0 lead to give the Panthers their second win. Yeah, nothing to worry about. Here, being played in Miami. Miami is 1-1 at home. Their only win was against the Jets. But give me the Chargers. I think they will be running that football with Hassan Haskins a lot. Chargers win by 4. Los Angeles Rams taking on the Baltimore Ravens at 4 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Rams are a 7.5-point favorites against the Ravens, who are 1-4, and they are coming off a 34 burger loss. And all Ravens fans can think of is Get Jim Harbaugh out of here. I'm sorry, John Harbaugh. Don't say that to John. Respect to John Harbaugh. They're going to take on the Rams, who came short, a yard short for them to keep on going, but failed to do that against the 49ers. Here, travel to Baltimore. It is going to be a huge road test for the Rams, but I'm going to take the Rams. They'll win this by 4. Arizona Cardinals take on the Indianapolis Colts at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Indy is a 7.5-point favorite. The Colts bounce back win against the Raiders last week. They welcome the Cardinals, who blew a 17-plus point game. They were up 21-6 to the Titans, and they lost 22-21 over the Titans. And of course, Jonathan Gannon got fined for that conversation with their running back. So that was something. But the other story right now is Kyler Murray did not practice today on Wednesday. So if he's not good to go, then Jacoby Brissett could start for this game. And it would probably be his revenge game. Him against the Colts. But that's if Kyler Murray is out. But with that being said, with his injury on the line, I'm going to take the Colts. Colts win by 4. Dallas Cowboys taking on the Carolina Panthers. 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Dallas is a 3.5-point favorite. Yes, because you're playing the Panthers, who came back from down 17-0. The largest comeback in franchise history. They were down 17 also in 2018. They did it this year against the Dolphins. Now you got to take on the Cowboys, who are coming off their best offensive performance against the Jets. Yep. This is going to be a fun game. The question will be, will Chuba Hubbard be ready to go this week? And if not, Rick O'Dowell is going to face his former team. Yeah. So another Micah Parsons revenge game type of game. Here, I was leaning to Carolina because of their big win against Miami, but I had to take the Cowboys in this one. Their offense is too good. I think their defense needs to step up. Of course, they did only allow 22 points to the Jets, but they're taking on a Panthers team that, yes, they came back from 17-0 deficit, but their offense was not perfect in the first half. So Dallas will take the advantage in the first half. I say Cowboys win by 10. New England Patriots take on the New Orleans Saints at 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS. New England is a 3.5-point favorite. They're coming off a huge road win against the Buffalo Bills. So huge one for them on the road. They're going to head to the road and take on the Saints. Congratulations, New Orleans. You got your first win of the season. And so is Spencer Rattler and Kellen Moore. Congratulations to those two guys. Here, this is a trap game for the Patriots. If they're going to keep up with the Bills for the AFC East title, they got to start winning these games. I'm going to take the Patriots in this one. Being played in New Orleans should be a great defensive football game, but give me the Patriots by 5. Cleveland Browns take on the Pittsburgh Steelers at 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Pittsburgh is a 6.5-point favorite. They're coming out of the bye week, of course. The last time we saw them, they went to Dublin, beat the Vikings. Of course, they run the football with Kenneth Gainwell, and the passing game was very efficient with Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers. They welcome the Browns, who are coming off their international loss last week, to the Vikings in London. But the good news is Dillon Gabriel had a great performance last week. Another great game, but I'm going to take the Steelers being played in Pittsburgh, and Cleveland had some tough performances on offense against that Steelers defense. It'll be a rough one for Dillon Gabriel against that Steelers defense. Give me the Steelers by 13. Tennessee Titans take on the Las Vegas Raiders at 4:05 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Las Vegas is a 3.5-point favorite against the Titans, who got their first win of the season. Okay. Yeah, let's see if Cam Ward can do it twice this week. But thinking on the Raiders, who only scored 6 points, embarrassment. Embarrassment. But this is an even game. But I'm going to take the Raiders in this one, being played in Las Vegas. They need that offense to get going. I think it can do it against the Titans defense. Give me the Raiders by 6. The people's game of the week, which we'll get to my America's game of the week, but America's game of the week, San Francisco 49ers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 4:25 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Tampa Bay is a 2.5-point favorites. This is a good one. 4-1 teams going at each other. One of them is going to go 4-2. The other one is going to go to 5-1 this season. And it starts with San Francisco coming off a huge road win against Los Angeles. Going to travel to Tampa Bay, take on the Bucs. Hey, big time win against Seattle at the Pacific Coast. Big one. This should be a fun one. I mean, you can go either way in this game. This is really the tough one. Last year they had a great game. Of course, I believe San Francisco won it last year. They did that last year. But that was when they brought back CMC. Ricky Pearsall was good, and they had some bunch of injuries. Here, this should be a fun one, but I'm going to take the Buccaneers. Get their revenge from last season's loss to the Niners last year. Give me the Buccaneers by 2 points. Cincinnati Bengals take on the Green Bay Packers at 4:25 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Green Bay is a 14.5-point favorites, the highest spread of the week. Of course, they're coming off a bye week. Last time we saw them was a draw to the Cowboys, a tie. Well, I hope they forget about that because they're going to take on the Cincinnati Bengals, who they got a new Joe Cool in town. Yes, they have made a big move, of course, yesterday to acquire Browns quarterback Joe Flacco as the starting quarterback. And you know what? Packers fans should not be hearing that name because if you don't know who Joe Flacco is, he just beat the Packers about 3 weeks ago. I'm assuming 3 to 4 weeks ago when he was in Cleveland. Now the Packers fans should be mad about that. But that don't matter. I think it's going to be close, but give me the Packers by 10. All right, this is my game of the week. The Detroit Lions travel to Kansas City, take on the Chiefs, 8:20 p.m. Eastern on NBC. Kansas City is a 2.5-point favorites. This is a huge game, not only for both teams, but more importantly for the Chiefs. They're coming off a tough loss to Jacksonville on the road. Looking to rebound against the 4-game win streak Lions, who are roaring themselves to let the NFC know we're the best team in the NFC. This is going to be a fun one. I'm going to take Kansas City, and it's the home crowd. A night game in Kansas City. I would not be picking the Lions in this one, but give me the Kansas City Chiefs by 5 points. Doubleheader on Monday night. We got the Buffalo Bills taking on the Atlanta Falcons at 7:15 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Buffalo is a 4.5-point favorite. It's a bit too low for this one because they're coming off a loss to the Patriots last week on Sunday night. They traveled to Atlanta to take on the Falcons, who the last time we saw them, they were a big-time win against the Commanders 2 weeks ago. Here in Atlanta, I'm going to take the Bills. They'll rebound. I think they respond from last week's loss. Bills win by 7. And finally, you got the Chicago Bears taking on the Washington Commanders at 8:15 p.m. Eastern on ABC. Washington is a 4.5-point favorite. Another potential game of the week, by the way. The Bears are coming off a bye week, but the last time we saw them, huge win on the road against the Raiders 2 weeks ago. They're taking on Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. We're coming off a huge win against the Chargers on the road. This is the rematch of the Hail Maryland catch. Of course, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, 1 versus 2 matchup. And you know the story last year. Hail Mary that had the Commanders winning it. They go to the playoffs, and the Bears fire their head coach. The rest is history. Here, this should be a real fun one. I'm going to make the biggest bold one. I'm going to take the Chicago Bears to upset the Commanders. Bears win by 8. That's it for my NFL Week 6 predictions. If you have not seen my other videos, go check them out on my channel. Of course, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for more sports news.